I'm Andrew Orolfo, and this podcast made me feel so nostalgic. Felt good.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the world famous Callbacks pod. Callbacks.
Ready to start now?
Callbacks.
Hey, welcome back to Callbacks. I am your host, Dan.
Hi, I'm Sam Salem. That's
Sam.
Danny Sellers. I use his government name even though he won't ever.
Danielle.
Deacon Dan.
What's your middle name? Bartholomew, isn't it?
My middle name is Robert.
Okay.
Named after my two grandpas.
Both the grandpa, you real daddy? That's
No, like Samuel and Robert. But really Samuel was Salim. Because I'm Arab.
ooh, nice.
I got a little bit of spice, I do.
So you went to English?
Yeah.
Most unspicy?
Yeah, because I didn't know how to do any other accent, and any other accent would have felt offensive.
If you have color, do
Can we restart all of this? I want to redo.
We are here calling back. We're talking about memories. We're talking about striking. We're talking about mental health checks. We're talking about
At All, the podcast where we do some deep dives on some of our favorite people from Hollywood.
Yeah.
But first, we got to start out with a trademark Danny Sellers mental health check.
My mental health, I struggle a little bit with this one. And I thought about this literally today walking over here or driving over here. My mental health feels like a bad little IG model in a club section. Like I'm just in here because I know a guy. Like I'm just here living because I know like one person, I don't really have any business here just yet. But I'm just like, oh yeah, I know him, kind of by name,
That I could not relate to that more. Yeah, this just happened this week, and you just blocked something out. I was invited to a huge company event. All right, and first off, I'm used to comedy shows where if they say, "Hey, it starts at 1," okay, well you get there at like 12:50, so then you have like it's gonna start. Bro, and this is like a corporate thing. So when they say they start at 1, it's more like a friend's party starting at 1. I showed up at 12:45 and they were still setting up, and they just looked at me like, "Who are you?" And then everybody, and I was there to make a reel about the experience later. But everybody else there knew each other. And so not that I'm a bad IG model, but I was that person sitting by themselves. Literally, I was just eating the hors d'oeuvres and drinking while a room full of people was all talking to each other, and I just stood there awkwardly, and it was the most uncomfortable.
For how long did you do it for?
It was like a 5-hour event.
What?
So there were speakers, but there was it would be like an hour at a time, and then finally there was a dinner where I was part of the dinner, and we were all like sitting together and eating. But
why'd you say that? Were you getting paid to stay the whole time?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it was like paid for me to see the event, see what the product was, so then I can talk about the product or whatever. But then finally someone who called me to see if, and emailed me, came up to me to talk to me, but I was so uncomfortable and awkward because I'd just been standing by myself that instead of a normal person talking about the weather or sports, I ended up talking about the Bloods and the Crips with her. And this is just
this white man in the corner with a knife and a room temperature steak, the Bloods and the Crips are getting out of hand.
Oh, I don't even know how we got
gang
on the
violence.
topic, but yeah, I did. What I went straight to was gang violence and how it's affecting schools. And she's just this little white woman from Washington, D.C. who flew in for the event that was like, okay, I got some other things to check on.
Any hope of you finding friends were diminished by you talking about the Crips and the Bloods randomly at a corporate event.
It was pretty rough. It got to the point where the guy passing out the hors d'oeuvres saw how lonely I was, so every time he got a new food, he came straight to me. So I had something to
That's
do.
tight.
So
you gotta connect with the guys because they don't want to be there either. They just gig workers, and they're just like, dog, I feel you. Could you drink at least?
I was, and I don't even drink like that, but just because there's nothing, I felt awkward. I was literally just standing in a room full of people. You feel so on display because everyone else has something to do, and it's there's literally nowhere for me to stand. I don't want to just look like I'm on my phone, so I was just sipping tequila sodas. I don't even drink tequila either. I just got into the bar. I was all out of my head. I was like,
And you couldn't even like talk to even. There's no even desire to talk to girls. That's crazy. I would have been in and out every other hour.
The dinner was great. The people there were very lovely. The company, I love you. And I ended up, meeting some, I don't know, people from the show Dance Moms.
I'm just joking.
No, I did not meet anybody like that.
Can you say the word "yeah" means?
Yeah means.
Okay, good. Let's check in.
Y'all know what I mean.
I met some of you. You know what I means.
Well, thank you for the mental health check. On that topic, we got some reviews. If you haven't reviewed us yet, thank you for the people who have. I'm not trying to be too thirsty, but we got some cute little reviews. This one is from Gabriella Joanne. I love Danny and Sam. Of course, she
Danny
puts Danny first. Yeah, I knew you would notice that. You attention.
Yeah.
Goon.
Thank you.
I love Danny and Sam. My mental health is also medium rare, so maybe that's why. If you don't get that reference, listen back to some previous pods because Danny's mental health was on medium rare.
Yes, sir.
I too enjoy when Danny makes Sam feel bad for being white.
I love it.
This is getting out of hand. Danny was like, you want to do this podcast about dates? And the thing that everybody loves the most is my white guilt.
The racial tension between Sam and Dan.
Nobody's better at it than Dan either.
All of our guests of color. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Then should we want to say, no, but for real, this pod is actually hilarious and insightful. I love hearing the inside scoop on the comedy world's ins and outs. Sam, you do look like a cartoon mosquito, though.
Nice. A nice little roast. A nice little salt-based sprinkle of roast at the end. Perfect comment. That's 10 out of 10.
Are you kidding me, Joe or Gabriella? Are you serious, dog?
They give you like compliment sandwiches. I like that. It's like the opposite. It's the compliment dessert of like, nice and cool in the beginning, and like little at the end, like a shot of meanness. That was great.
Yeah,
that's tight.
Sam should feel guilty, and also he looks like a cartoon mosquito.
Shut up.
I love you though. Thank you for leaving that. Thank you for leaving that review. That was very kind. Another person. This is S Moore 320. This podcast is quickly becoming the highlight of my week. I look forward to every Tuesday when the new episode drops. Look at Tuesdays are a tough day, and we're making your Tuesdays bright.
Tuesdays are rough. Mondays are rough, but Tuesdays are even more rough because it's like I'm still nowhere close to the end of the week. Yeah. So shout out to Tuesday.
Monday, you're still kind of at least like you can talk about what you did that weekend, but then Tuesday's like I still got the whole week. Like you said. Yeah. They went on to say Danny and Sam have amazing chemistry. How do you like that person who commented on our YouTube?
Yeah.
That we have terrible chemistry.
Perfectly manufactured by the industry. We're industry plants.
Yeah. And they ended saying, I can't recommend it enough, which that is so nice, S. Moore. If you want your review read, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps us out. We'll read it.
And make sure you say my name first, please. In all of your reviews, say Danny and then Sam, or you can just say Danny and then you can pencil in Sam anywhere in the paragraph later. But prioritize my name first and then go from there. Thank you.
Danny, let's dive into this. What does your need to always be first?
I don't know. I'm selfish. I don't know, dude.
I love me more than I love other people.
Yeah. I'm a narcissist. I don't know, dog.
We got an amazing guest this week, Andrew Orolfo.
Yes, sorry.
You're creating more editing work for yourself.
Yeah, dog, but I'm trying to not get us fired from our own job.
That's hilarious.
Damn. Take the clue. I don't know. It's been a long day already, and I'm sorry for projecting my meanness to you. So you've done nothing wrong ever.
I am all about projecting self-hate onto other people. That's how I get through.
You're not human golden. You like a human golden retriever, I feel like.
That is very kind. Why?
Just the hair, you just apologize for shit all the time. Like your golden retrievers are never like super sure what the fuck they should be doing. I feel like you're a nice person. Like if there was ever one of those TV shows where a dog becomes a human, like the Little Mermaid, like we could do a little spinoff where you used to be like a nice Labrador or golden retriever, and then like you have a little wish or something like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where you just like kind of make you a person. Let us know what you think. We're pitching this
movie where you're my owner.
Yeah,
I think it's time for black people to own white people.
Look, TikTok. Let's get into today's episode.
Also, real quick before we get into the episode, Dad, I know you watch the YouTubes now and say I slouch. Sometimes this couch, just the angle of it. Yeah. I'm not slouching. I love you. Thank you for the feedback, though.
You ready?
Should we start this thing? Yeah. Are you going to say welcome even though we've already done that?
We are back. We're here with our guests.
Let's do a proper intro like we like to do.
Something proper.
Our guest today is such a masterful joke teller. It has landed him appearances on network television, Comedy Central, and Netflix. When he's not headlining shows throughout the country, you can find him at his weekly show here in LA, Motherland Comedy, every Wednesday in Eagle Rock.
Good show, great show.
We are overflowing with anticipation to welcome to the show a man who in 2007 was roaming the Concord streets while rocking dreadlocks.
Ooh, the dreadlocks.
I did. I'm okay with that one.
He picked going to night school over Saturday school to stay on track to graduate high school. And someone who
that's so crazy.
someone who always ends up as designated driver for his friends, even though they keep throwing up in his car.
Oh my God.
True.
Shout out David, Blake, Jenny, and Matt.
Yep.
It's the son of Nathaniel. Welcome to the pod, Andrew Orolfo.
Damn, that's crazy.
Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you for having me, I think. That was scary.
I think.
I don't know what you dug up.
It's just
But that's
the
cool.
tip of the iceberg.
I'm not mad at those. Those are fun.
He's all right, cool. We haven't creeped. Usually we say this every pod, but I creep people out, and Danny has to win them over right away. So we've had guests Brenda leave.
The dread. How'd you get the dreads popping?
I miss those, honestly. Because I'm from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And what year was that?
2007.
Yeah, that's right.
I like when people ask me about their own life.
Yeah.
Right? When did I do that?
07, that was like, I don't know if y'all remember. Yeah. I don't know if y'all remember.
Oh, show that to the camera.
We didn't even know.
Yep.
Funny.
Bay Area peak, maybe not peak, but it maybe peak mainstream for hyphy movies.
Yeah, hyphy. Yeah.
He was popping Molly.
Tell me when to go.
I was thizzing.
Isn't.
Yeah, but Tell Me When to Go, I think that was that year. And that lyric, Shake Them Dreads.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like
I'm
everyone.
not following at all. I'm
Okay.
Minnesota suburb.
You never heard them songs?
I'm sheltered
Tell
as
me when
heck.
to go.
I don't know.
I was in the Midwest too, and I thought that shit was like a global thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know global.
I mean,
but it was
American.
definitely-
Who was it?
Yeah.
Hi.
Is it
It was-
Keek the Sneak or something?
Yeah, Keek the Sneak, Too Short, Mac Dre, E40.
Yeah, E40.
Yeah, I
The
mean, I know who
Pack.
some of those people are, but
Jesus Christ had dreads. You never heard that shit?
No.
So shake 'em.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You
So the Bay Area, there was like a huge thing to have dreads and then shake them. That was like how we
That's amazing.
danced.
so even like some white boys were walking around with
Yeah,
dreads.
like a lot of people had dreads at that time.
Like, we need to find pictures of G-Eazy back in 2007.
That's hilarious.
That's insane.
Dude, crazy thing about G-Eazy, I think at that time he used to make, because that's when he was like starting out. For money, I think he used to make like MySpace layouts.
Really?
Yeah, and he made my friends a long time ago. Yeah,
That's
Damn,
hilarious.
that
Like
what a
it just
moment.
random people's MySpace layouts, or for like artists and
for like everybody. He like at the time, if you knew how to make a cool MySpace layout.
that was a good
Probably
big currency.
It was probably a nice like somewhere you could make probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to know how. Like, he's the one guy that knows how to make MySpace shit drip from the tops
Yeah.
of.
That was the stand-up clip editor back
Right.
then. You know what I'm saying?
That's hilarious. I've said this before on the pod, but we had dial-up internet, so I didn't have MySpace ever.
You never had a
Really?
MySpace?
No,
Not even really.
Wait, how old are we in this room?
I'm
30.
30. Right, you're
Okay.
31?
I'm 32.
32.
Yeah.
Damn, you never had MySpace?
No.
No Tila Tequila? No.
Oh, damn! How did people know you were their best friend if you just put them in the 8?
That is the one thing I think we need to bring back is the top 8. I think people need to know where they stand, where you rank them. That was even though I didn't have it, I knew like the drama where like my buddy's girlfriend would be mad that he put like his best friend over her, like the girlfriend would be number 2.
Yeah. For the at that point for the homies, you gotta
Yeah, I
They
remember
were
that.
saying bros over women.
Oh yeah. You were 17.
boys.
You were 17. You've been this best friends with this dude since you were in the 2nd grade. That should like you don't know life other than your boys.
Yeah,
You gotta keep your boys at number 1.
yeah. I ended up going random. So,
Ooh,
so people wouldn't get mad.
keep them on your toes.
Yeah.
Oh, you just randomize it?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many people on my top 8 back then that I still talk to now.
That's a good question.
It may be like one.
I
if
think
that.
it's like 1. Yeah.
That's the show. I wish there's the archives of MySpace and you could dig up everyone's top 8 and then you make them talk to everybody. who's in the top 8.
Bruh, literally. So maybe 5 years ago, I looked back at my old DMs on MySpace.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's what I need to go delete is these nasty ass DMs, like this weak game. The girls like, oh, really? Wink,
Right.
like just emojis out of order.
Not even emoticons.
Yeah, just nasty work from like a horny 16-year-old. What a time.
All right, let's introduce a new segment called Petty Corner because myself, Sam Salem, I'm a very petty person. Andrew, I don't know if this is going to resonate with you because on all accounts, and not that I see you a lot, but you're like the most chill Zen person in the comedy game. You just always seem like,
phenomenal
I'm
energy,
just here to hang out and be nice to people and tell my little jokes.
Oh, thank you.
Not little jokes, they're great jokes.
I got what you're saying.
Condescending. But this had me thinking about this because my wife and I were at a bar and this woman noticed that we were kind of finishing up. And she I could feel her breath on my neck because she was waiting for my seat. And there was no one else there that was going to take it. And it took everything in me not to stay at the bar like 10 minutes longer just because I was like annoyed.
Yeah.
And it just made me realize how petty of a person I am. And I'm working on it because I used to full-time teach, now sub. I know you were a preschool teacher. Or
really?
PE.
I used to, yeah.
Yeah. And I had students that would leave garbage in my class, and one time I saw this girl set garbage on the desk. I'm like, do not leave garbage in this class. Like, you are not, like, quit doing that. Take that with you. And she, like, rolled her eyes and picked it back up, and then everyone leaves the class, and I looked back, and she had left it on a different desk.
Nice. Fuck you, Mr. Sam.
So I brought it down to I was so pissed off. I should have just let it go. But I was so pissed off that I took it to the office and I put it like in an envelope, and I had the front desk lady go over the loudspeaker and be like, "Name of student, please report to the office."
You're a serial killer.
And then the kid showed up, and I wasn't around for this, so she wouldn't know. And the person at the front desk kind of like very seriously gave her the envelope and said, "I'd open it now." And she said the kid just looked absolutely horrified and so panicked. And then she opened it, and it was the wrapper that she had left in my class.
You are a fucking serial killer.
That's incredible, actually.
You do work for this. That's like CIA torture, like waterboarding type shit.
Bro, I do not get paid enough to be cleaning up garbage every day in the classroom. And this was a repeat offender multiple times. If a kid had just done this one time, but the fact that they had done it multiple times and then looked me in the eye and heard me and then still did this. I had to retaliate, but yeah, it's a reason I need to transition.
I don't have anything even close to being petty.
Yeah, me either. I mean, kind of. I mean, I do for some reason. I don't know. Dawood will back me up on this. I get disrespected a lot.
Really? By just like comedians,
by a lot of if I'm sometimes I'll go to an open mic or something. Then this happens every time I go out. I don't know why it happens. But and Dawood's always with me when I do it. Someone just always gets, because I'm quiet and I don't really, I'm just chilling. So people, I feel like to project things onto me because they know I won't say anything back. So a lot of times I'll get newer comics come up to me and ask, are you even funny?
What?
That's happened.
Earth
quote. That's a quote.
Are you fucking
And that's happened a lot.
That is crazy. That's crazy to say to anyone, but especially you. You're like, dog, you've been on late night. You're JFL, new face. You have all these.
But new comics don't know that,
I will say LA comedians, people that started in LA, there's an interesting confidence that comes from a lot of new comedians in LA. I think because either some of them are actors and maybe they do have credits elsewhere or whatever. Or they just they're so used to faking it till you make it. They just have this weird confidence about themselves. This probably unhealthy confidence about themselves. Because I've felt that, it hasn't happened to me, but I've felt that energy from people where it's oh, you're not even, who are you to be saying or acting like this when we're just at this mic and there's 8 of us in this room trying out jokes. Yeah.
But I mean, that'll happen to me and then I'll be upset, but I won't really do anything about it. And then
this guy would have fucking
but then
slash his tire.
All it really takes is later that same person will come up to me and be like, "Hey, I like your stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, thank God." You know what I mean? I'll forgive them immediately. As soon as they're nice to me, I'm like, "Oh, okay, you're fine."
You're too soft. That's why you're just a good. You're actually probably just a nice, good, forgiving person, which
maybe
I aspire to be.
There has been times the most petty thing I've probably done is either if there's a comic like bugging me to like, or it's like some like a comic that's been like kind of like annoying to me or whatever, I will put them up after someone I know they can't follow.
Nice. Yeah.
I've only done that a couple times, but that's like the most petty thing I probably done.
I mean, but that's not even that bad. You're still giving them a spot on the show. I think
and people are also delusional enough to where they'll still think they did well, even though they did. Like, okay, I got a couple laughs. Like, great. It's like, dog, you didn't have a good set.
That's not as mean. I have a friend who purposely won't. So to all the non-comedy people out there listening, like you get a light when you have like a minute or 2 minutes or just a warning light saying, hey, finish up your set. And I have a friend who, when people are bombing and struggling, he refuses. And like if they're being like hateful, they're not just bombing and struggling, but if they're being like a bad crowd up there, turning the crowd, he purposely just won't light them to make them have to quit.
Okay,
like,
I've done that. I've done that. Yeah, I've done that before.
I'm not gonna, and it's kind of genius. It's like technically I gave you more stage time.
Yeah.
But really, what it's doing is like, no, I'm not gonna give a light to say, hey, you're out of this misery. I'm gonna make you be the one to have to tell yourself, okay, I have to get off stage.
You gotta sit in it.
I've done. That's so funny.
That's so
good.
funny.
That's really
because especially when you get in between bits and stuff. It's like, all right, I guess I could do another one because I haven't gotten the light yet, but I don't really have anything to say, so I'm gonna just be more insecure.
Yeah,
I love that.
One of the funniest things, Dawood and I were at a mic out here or somewhere in the Empire, or whatever, and Dawood, he's seasoned. You know who? You all know who?
I don't know. Dawood Neymar.
Yeah, Neymar.
Sorry. Yeah, he's also been on Comedy Central. Very funny.
So funny.
Viral comedian.
But he just did his he did a set and then he didn't. That's all he wanted to work on. He did like sometimes you're at the point where like you don't have to do the full time. You can just get off whenever the fuck you want. Right. You know, it doesn't matter. No one's gonna like whatever. And then so he did all the jokes he wanted to do. He got off like a minute or two early. And then some dude there was like, "Hey man, just do the time." Fill it up. Do the time.
Fill it up.
He's like, fill it up. He's like, that's how you get better. You gotta just stand up and start talking.
That was like way worse than him.
Yes, and then he goes up, and then he doesn't even fill the time. He's like, oh well, and then he's like, that's all I had. And he looks at Dawood. He's like, but I'm gonna stay up here. And then just continues not to do anything for like a few more minutes.
He normally would have got off, but since he said you have to fill the time, he like
what else? That's the worst. Anytime you say what else I got, what else is going on? How you do? Like, no, if you ever have to say that, get the fuck out today.
You gotta get off. That's funny. All right, let's move into our favorite segment here. Our main segment, Save the Date, where we give you dates from your own life. You can guess what they are if you want. That's always a fun little game. This first one, it'd be crazy if you pulled this one out. June 26, 2017.
Okay.
June. It was a Monday night, if that helps.
That's really specific.
Wait, what? June?
Yeah.
June
26, 2017.
On a Monday, was it either Hannibal Buress or Michael Che?
Michael Che drops in on, was it still called Comedy Tacos at the time? You and Irene Two's.
Oh, no, it was actually called Starline Comedy at the time.
Okay, I knew it was at the Starline Social Club. But yeah, so I want to hear, obviously, leading up to that as well, because that is going from, okay, you're starting like every second and fourth Monday type of show with your friend, and then all of a sudden you have a weekly show, and then all of a sudden it's selling out, and then Michael Che, head writer of SNL, like is dropping in. I mean, like, what is it like in that moment? Does it make you nostalgic, like looking back of like, dang, how far have I come? Like, I know you started comedy because you were working in a skate shop, and like your manager was just like, hey, I'm going to open mic. You want to come? And you're like, sure, I'll come. So I guess, I want to hear it all from how did Michael Che even end up there, and to like, did it make you look back on how far you had come? Oh
yeah, I mean that was such a fun moment, just because Michael Che does that thing where before he did that, he'll post. I don't know, he'll post. So
your name was on his Instagram post.
Yeah, for a little bit. My name for like I don't know how long, but he knew one of my friends in Oakland, and he was just in town shooting something.
Okay.
And then he's like, are there any shows on a Monday? And we were literally the only show.
That's amazing.
And he came through, and then somehow Jermaine Fowler was shooting, I think it was Sorry to Bother You at the time.
Yeah, probably.
And he was just in town too. So Michael Che was just hit Jermaine up and was like, I'm going to go do the show. You want to do the show? And he's like, can we both do the show? I was like, yeah, of course.
Talking about, like two famous, like established comics.
Yeah, it was just, they were both in town at the same time. And it was so cool. And it blew up the show.
Really?
Because the show was doing good. It was fine. But after that moment, because it was like, oh, you never know who's going to pop in.
Yeah,
Because I think Hannibal popped in like the week or two, or maybe the month before.
Wow.
So people are like, oh, this show's like interesting.
Yeah.
And then they popped in. And then after that, every show ever since for 4 years after was sold out.
What part of town is this?
It was downtown. Like
San Francisco?
Oakland.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to live in San Francisco for a year. Didn't spend enough time in Oakland. I wish I did.
Yeah. Oakland.
You were born and raised in Oakland?
I grew up.
He was 10 and then Concord.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Concord after. So middle and high school in Concord.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The Bay is I think the Bay is one of the most beautiful parts of the country.
Yeah. It's got its own weird culture. It's kind of in a weird state now, just because with tech and like everybody's fighting now.
Is it still? Because I lived there in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
How much of it is the old Bay Area still there, and how much is, because like I feel like a lot of people moved there, then I feel like it got so expensive, some of the tech kind of moved out and the remote work stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like, where do you see the Bay Area now?
Well, San Francisco's probably changed the most out of everything. Oakland a little bit. There's still a little bit of art in Oakland, which is cool. Still, it probably not for the next couple of years, but it'll be at like San Francisco. Yeah. But outside of the Bay, like San Jose is still exactly the same. Yeah. Like Pittsburgh, Antioch, maybe the same or worse.
Yeah.
But the culture is still there.
Yeah.
Hyphy still. People still love it out there. Everyone still says hella.
Yeah, hella. The city.
Hella funny, Andrew Orolfo.
Frisco, yeah.
That's awesome. How long were you into comedy at that time, 2017, when Michael Che was dropping in?
I started end of 2012.
Okay.
So
like 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, I guess Danny, we were talking about this before, like it seems like so much. You obviously have to be very hardworking and very talented, but like so much of comedy is serendipity.
Oh yeah,
that like I know. This is crazy to me. So let me know if I get this right. You were in LA doing a all Filipino show, and somehow Joe Coy hears about it. And then because he sees you, he's like, "Hey, Tuesday night, like." Come open for me at the Comedy and Magic Club, which is a famous club here in Redondo. And it's just like, you can't, like, you obviously had to be good enough to get his attention, but you can't control somebody walking in the room like that. So like, I guess how do you deal with just kind of letting go of the control of that? But then I guess, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Is like, how much of it is just like total randomness, and then how much of it is hard work? Because I know even with that Joe Coy thing, you drove back to the Bay, and then on a Tuesday night, get off work, drive the 5.5 hours, down and back just to do 5 minutes, of time.
It's crazy because I still do that sometimes. I still just go up to the Bay, do a show for, if it's good money. Now it has to be like good money, and then I'll go up for a few hours and drive right back. Well, it's random, but it's you kind of. You put yourself in situations where randomness can happen like that. Yeah. Like, I mean, I just made it a point to just, if what I wanted, like, I just had to like be there. Yeah. You know, like I've always wanted to do the Asian show just because I wanted to. So I was going to drive there to do it. And then it's all like just putting yourself in situations where good things can happen. Like the most situations you can put yourself in, like the better.
Well, at what point were you like, I have to move to LA full time? Like, was there like a money thing? Was there a job? Was it just like, fuck it, a feeling?
It was kind of close to the pandemic, right?
Was it?
It was kind of close to the pandemic,
it was like 5 months before. Yeah. It was just, I made it a point, because San Francisco's so close. So I made it a point to just make it or do 1 to 2 days here, just every month, just no matter what.
Okay.
Whether it be miking or doing shows, I would just, and I did that for like maybe a year or 2.
Okay.
When I was in the Bay, and I ended up getting a manager when I was in San Francisco, and then we submitted to Corden, and then I got it, and then at that point he was just like, "You should probably just move."
Right.
Yeah, because he was getting me spots like before even we were talking to Corden.
Really?
He was like getting me on all the big shows here.
Fire.
So I was like, he's just like, if
Like at the clubs, like, or
yeah, or like at like Hot Tub.
Yeah,
like that was
yeah.
like that was like huge back then, you know. I mean, it's still big, but
we were talking to Eddie Del Seppi, another comedian.
Yeah,
last episode,
and he was talking about that era ish of LA comedy, where a lot of the independent shows were like popping.
Yeah.
You know, and like the indie kind of scene, the alt scene were like crazy in LA.
Yeah. Because at that time, 2016, that was like Comedy Central was fucking with Nerd Mount heavy.
Yeah.
It was all Viceland was doing.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
my God.
So at that time, like I guess like the alt scene was going crazy.
Yes, Viceland. Oh my God, that era of Jesus and Mary when they first popped, they had all those like drug shows, the noisy stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Noisy with they would be like nerdy like Sam would go like to Chicago, like Chief Keef. Sorry, Sam. And like with Chief Keef and Guns, like they go like Gary, Indiana. It was like one episode with this dude following kids.
Chief Keef and Guns.
Huh? Sam, you don't even know what hyphy music was. Anyway, yeah, shout out to Vice. Oh my God, that was an era. Goodness gracious.
That was an era. You kind of moving on to our next dates. So usually you just had a kind of a crazy 2019 through 2022. I'm gonna a first in our Save the Date segment. I'm gonna do it to choose your own adventure. I'm gonna give you 4 dates. You already mentioned the first one. So September 18th, 2019. That was the Late Late Show with James Corden.
Okay.
Then we had June 12th, 2020. Do we know what that was?
June 12th. Oh, that's when the Netflix thing aired.
Yeah, you're on Joe Coy's In His Elements on Netflix debut. Then October 5th, 2021, we got the Comedy Central Presents.
Yeah.
Well, you perform on that. And then July 25th, 2022, you're announced as one of the fresh faces at Montreal JFL.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know comedy, that is absurd. Like, to just get one of these things is like that is a big deal. And I know you can say like, okay, yeah, JFL, if you got it like in the 80s or 90s, that meant you were like, sure, it's not the same back as then where you just get your own TV show on network television.
Right.
But like, yeah, for a person's career to just culminate into one of those things is great. To get all 4 in 4 years in a row, that's pretty wild. So
yeah,
I guess I would love to hear you. Which one do you think was the most, I guess, which one is like, and I know they're all great, but if you can like, which one is you look back on the most fondly? And which one do you think did the most for your career?
They were all so different.
Marry, fuck, kill these shows.
All of your credits.
Okay. Fun. That's a fun one.
I mean, you do it if you'd like.
Okay.
What gets left out?
I think I will. Out of the 3, fuck, I'm not gonna do that.
Leave them out.
I'm not gonna kill one of those. It's so weird because each did something so different for what I'm doing now.
Talk through all. I want to hear about all of them. I'm curious now.
Well, Corden was that like what started it. That definitely started it to where when I moved to, because I moved to LA like a week before I taped.
Oh, nice.
Because we knew we were gonna do it. We had a vague date, but we knew I was gonna do it sometime in August, September. So I moved here on 9/11.
Oh my!
Yeah,
classic.
And then and then they hit me up to do it the next Wednesday.
Okay.
And because of that, it allowed me to like kind of have some heat here.
Yeah.
So as soon as I moved here, I was very lucky to kind of just, and with all the trips and stuff, I guess, it was such an easy transition.
Yeah.
Like it was, I never had any, this just sucks. Like I hate being here. I never had
like most of us do that don't have
Yeah.
in LA.
I was very thankful and very lucky to have done that. Because when I got here, it was kind of just getting booked right after that. I was just doing more and more stuff. And then that's very important.
Marry, nice, at least and get engaged to.
Yeah. And then the Netflix thing was crazy. This is like those random moments.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a watch party at my house for the Corden thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wake up so hungover. I'm so hungover, and I get a call from Joe, and he was like, "Do you want to do this Netflix thing?" Like literally literally right after that night. I was like, "What?"
And it's not just like a Netflix taping. Like he's taking you to the Philippines to like perform for a huge crowd and get the experience over there.
Yeah, and it was so much fun. But the Netflix thing did a lot in terms of like, I guess like following. Like I got a bunch of like fans, like Filipino fans. Which was like really cool.
Yeah.
And then
they had you doing Zoom shows for their business.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I did some
during
shows
the pandemic. I did a couple of Zoom shows. I never got paid for it though.
Yeah, I got fired from one.
Really?
Yeah.
In the middle of it, or just like going into?
Yeah. I don't think.
Wait, you got fired from the Zoom show for a Filipino company?
No, it was so. I don't remember. It was like I don't remember what the company was. It was they reached out to my management and was like, you do 2 shows and it pays like an absurd amount of money. It was like absurd. And then I do 1 show and I have this bit and it was supposed to be clean and it's like, yeah, sure, I could do that. But it was just like this one bit about like white women. And it was just like, I have a white girlfriend just to keep them off the streets. You know?
Keep them from being a Karen.
Yeah. And then I got an email, was like, hey, Andrew only made this white woman joke and he didn't make fun of anybody other race. And I was like, yeah, what the hell? He's like, so you want me to be a racist person?
That is right. The first comedian fired for not being racist.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell.
She was just like, yeah, I just felt like he singled out white women and nobody else. And it's like, she was like, and we're down for like that. And I was like, okay. So that was the first show. And that was at like 11 a.m. in the morning.
The perfect time to be doing comedy.
Right, on Zoom.
And then, but I was hired to do 2. And then the other one was at 11 p.m. for their Asian office. So I saw those notes and I was just like, okay, sure. And then they reached out to my management and they're like, hey, we're actually going to go in a different direction.
They hit you to go in a different direction.
Yeah, with the next show. So good thing we paid him early, so he gets to keep that. They paid me before.
And you kept the whole entire check.
That's a dub.
That's a huge like, great. Awesome, thank you.
Go to sleep at fucking middle of the pandemic.
I mean, did you feel some type of way? Like, were you like a little bummed about it, or were you just like, okay, out of my control?
Yeah, I was bummed. Because I was bummed that I didn't want to upset my management.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't give a fuck. So I was like, okay, yeah. So
he got the check.
yeah, we got the money. So I did.
He got his 10%.
Not that it's all about the money. It's about the love of the game.
Yeah, fuck that. At that point, it's about you do a clean Zoom corporate. It's about the check. I feel like
yeah, for sure. Oh, but back to the thing.
Oh yeah, what's the JFL's
JFL.
And Comedy Central.
JFL was just like felt like I graduated a little bit.
Yeah,
right.
Felt like I like finished something.
How many times did you audition for it?
That was my second time.
Wow, so that's pretty impressive too. So, like again, for all my fan base out there that's not familiar, like JFL, fresh faces, there are people who like audition for it 10 years in a row before they get it, or
Mm-hmm.
audition for it 10 years in a row and never get it. So to get it after 2 years, that's
or just been in comedy for a long ass time and never get to even audition. You know, people from Chicago, what is.
You see people who are like getting fresh faces who are like headlining all over the country that are like, 40 years old, and they're like, fresh faces.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. To get
and back in the day, I feel like, I don't know, I still hold it in high regard.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's, anytime you get an accomplishment is, this thing that we do is so hard, it's so individualistic. Getting anyone to say, "Oh, I like what you do," I feel like is a massive win.
Yeah.
You said, was this 2 years ago or year?
Yeah, I think 2022.
Last year?
Yeah.
Damn, time is flying.
It is.
What was it like? Like, I mean, getting it, the audition process, I feel like it's very kind of stressful and uneasy. But once you got the yes that you're going to do it, then like, what is it like from that point on to actually get into Montreal? Because I want to hear about this part. I feel like no one talks about this part enough.
Sure.
Of JFL.
Yeah. The audition process was pretty simple. You just do your set, but I also shout out to Netflix's A Joke Festival for doing their new faces. I felt like because I don't think at the time you could have done both. I think that was in like their contract.
Oh, really?
So they took some people who definitely deserved it as well. So they took them out of the running for JFL.
That's crazy.
So I think that helped my chances a little bit too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did a set and it went fine. It went okay. And then I was like, the set's whatever. It was like stuff that's already been like out.
Yeah.
I think it was like half of the Netflix, half of the Corden. And I switched it up. I was like, next, if I get a call back, I'm just going to do all new stuff. I'm going to do, because I had been doing stuff about like my family at the time. And I was like, I'm gonna talk about this. I feel like they might like this.
Right.
And then I was at West Side on the second one, and the set was as good as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I felt good off this. And if I don't get it, then I was like, fine. And then I walk off the stage, and Chris Gorbos was hosting.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. He might not have been hosting, but he was there.
Yeah.
And then I get off stage, and I'm in that like little corridor thing, and then he goes, "I think you got it."
Wow. That's crazy.
He called it out. He called it out.
He sees a lot of comedy. So
he was like, "You got it." And then I was like, I hope
that would
so.
have given me a panic attack. I'm like, do not say this.
I know it did.
My hopes up.
It did get my hopes up, but there was like such a weird feeling of like, I think I did.
Yeah,
it's like an undeniable set.
I don't think I had the best set. But it just felt good.
Mm-hmm.
And like talking to them after, it wasn't like, for some reason it wasn't awkward. Because sometimes in those situations, like when you talk to like the bookers and stuff, it's like, oh, did I do okay? Or like,
right.
That's me. I was having a fucking panic attack after.
But it just felt I felt loose.
Yeah.
It just felt good.
Right.
And then you don't hear anything from like months.
Right. Yeah.
You don't hear anything for like months. And then I get the email, and then like, you can't tell anybody. And then it's already happened. So because I'm gonna talk about Dawood a lot because I do everything with him.
Yeah.
He's like one of my best friends. He hit me up like, because I knew, and I can keep a secret. I'm very good at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
Dawood is not. Dawood is not. And he got it, and he told me like immediately as he got it.
Like, no, he had not even waited. Like, I got the email at the same time. 5 minutes later,
because I knew before he did.
Okay.
That I got mine, and then the unref knew later, and then he was like, I got it. Don't tell anybody. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Hell yeah.
But you didn't tell him?
I did not. I didn't tell him till he saw me in Montreal. Or until they announced it.
Right.
And
that's funny as hell.
Wait, no, it was because they didn't announce it till
you were like on your way.
Yeah, till we were on our way.
Right.
So
really? Is that close? I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. They announced it the day after I got there.
What?
Yeah.
And when do you get there, like the week of?
Mm-hmm. Or I think it's a weekend. So they've been doing it for however long, for like a week, and then the second week is like when.
For some reason, I thought it was like you at least knew a week or two before. That's crazy.
No, you know.
I know. I knew a month before.
Oh, but they announced. Okay, when they announced. Gotcha. Okay, yes.
I do remember seeing that because some comedians, like, it was like their Instagram page said, I'm going to be doing Fresh Faces this year. And then all of a sudden the next story was like, I'm in Montreal. I'm like, wow, that is.
Yeah.
Why did it feel, what about it? You said it felt like graduating. What about the experience made it feel like graduating?
I just, because it felt like Corden is when that was like my intro. That was like, okay, I'm
late night TV.
I'm here.
Right.
And then the Netflix thing was like, okay, I'm still doing stuff. People are starting to see. And then the new faces, like, it just felt like I was being rewarded for the stuff I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
And what's cool about JFL too is you started to see people get it that you actually know, and they're like kind of peers of yours. It's like, okay, I'm in the right direction at least, because like then if you do get it, you get to enjoy it with your actual friends, your homies. Right, it's just like this is actually kind of tight. Like I don't feel like I'm too late where I don't know these people, or I'm too early where I also don't know these people. It's like you can kind of at least have one or two homies with you that like.
Yeah, I mean, last year the whole new faces. I think I didn't know two of them.
Yeah, it felt like it was like that was a good year of people that
it was all homies.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's awesome.
But it's so Blair. I think it was Blair or Laura Peak. I don't remember. Sorry, but they said you could tell who got JFL by who was wearing masks the whole month.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
at shows and stuff.
Or anything.
What an era!
I would
shout out to Shout out.
I actually had COVID when I got the email that I got it.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, thank God.
That's a relief. Yeah, because then that was a funny part in comedy. Like I'm not trying to get COVID, but like I had some like New York and East Coast shows lined up, and I got COVID like 3 weeks before. I'm like, well, this sucks, but. At least I'm like when I try, I'm gonna just be out in those streets. Like,
weddings, all that, funerals. Let me just go and get this out of the way now. I got after that 6 months. I'm raw dog in the air. I'm sniffing toilets. I'm doing whatever the fuck I gotta do after you.
I want to bring it back to. I know we referenced this before we get out of here. You used to be a PE teacher at a Chinese immersion school.
Yeah,
for preschoolers. Even though you don't speak Mandarin and are not Chinese. Nope. Yeah, I know you have very funny jokes about it. Me just being in the classroom myself, what are your most crazy student interactions or funny or parent? Do you have any like wild parent interactions as well?
Yeah. So I would do this program where I'd float around and I'd go to different preschools like throughout the week.
Yeah.
And sometimes like the week sometimes parents were weird. They were just like rude. Nothing too crazy. Most people were very nice. What was the question again?
Oh, you're good. Just any memorable from teaching, like your student or parent interactions, if any.
Oh yeah. So at the Chinese immersion school, because I don't speak Mandarin or whatever, so it was always very funny to get yelled at by a child, because they'll like yell at you, in Mandarin, and I have no idea what they're saying. Just like some blue-haired or blue-eyed blonde kid just yelling at me in Mandarin, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, speak English, bro."
That's funny. A white kid talking to you
the street is like, "What is happening?"
That's just fucking stupid.
A white kid just screaming Mandarin at a Filipino man.
That's crazy. What part of the Bay was this?
Concord. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, that's fun. I could never be. I've said this every episode. I could never be a teacher. I have zero patience for kids like that.
Yeah. No, preschool is very easy.
Really?
I thought it was easy.
That would scare me because I'm like, I'm not trying to have to deal with kids peeing their pants or like.
I didn't have to deal with that though. The other.
Okay. You're just like floating. It's like you're just a good, cool uncle teacher. Like, I'm a cool uncle teacher.
Yeah, and most of the time, I was like the only dude at these things.
So you're like a superhero to them.
Yeah, so they would give me minimal interactions.
Yeah.
Like teaching, they would just be like, "Hey, just play with the kids for a little bit,"
That's hilarious.
That's crazy.
I think we should force everybody, especially every Congress member, to come substitute teach with me before they make all these rulings and be like, "Yo, see what it is like."
Yeah.
In these
like a ride along, like a teacher ride along.
Bro, this kid. I just thought of this. I've been away from the classroom for a while, but yesterday I went to sub at this school that I used to sub at a decent amount. So I'm like, sure, I'll go. I'm not doing anything today. I'll go back. And this freshman, it's like a math class. So this teacher had dice in the class for like some project.
Oh my God.
This kid and he knows where like the dice are like hidden in the drawer. And he walks like up on me, comes to me on the desk with a fistful of cash, grabs the dice and is like, all right, boys, let's do this.
That's
and
tight.
I'm like, hey, you can't shoot dice in my class.
What a legend.
And he's like, she lets us do it all the time. And I'm like, referencing the teacher, I'm like, one, no, she doesn't. And two, I don't care. I'm not your teacher. You are not shooting.
I would have been on Instagram Live watching like these motherfuckers in here shoot dice. And then give me 10%. Give the house 10%. You can go.
Bro, he like literally just ignored me and kept doing it. So I went and I grabbed the bag of dice and then he put his hands on it and he's like, get your hands off me. If you got a problem, I'm gonna give you a problem. Get your hands off me. And then
How old is this kid?
Freshman in high school. And he starts physically threatening me because I won't let him shoot dice in classroom.
That's very tight.
Yeah, I was that kid too.
Really shoot dice?
You're shooting dice?
I tried to fight my teacher.
Really?
Over what?
It was so my fault. Like I was in the wrong 1,000%.
No, come on. It was their fault.
No, I used to it was sixth period in high school. I think I was a senior, junior. I used to. I'm not gonna say his name. I remember him, but I used to fall asleep. It was sixth period. I was tired. I used to fall asleep in his class every single day.
Right.
Which is bad.
Yeah.
And one day he woke me up. And I just snapped. I was like, "Don't you ever wake me up!" Like from when I was sleeping. And then I was like, I did the whole thing. I was a kid, but I did the whole thing. I was like, "See me outside right now."
Nice.
Yeah.
Hormones on 10, just raging.
And then, and he was like a guy I could easily beat up. Anyone could. A very easy guy to beat up. So he did. He's not gonna start anything.
So he was just like, okay, sweet dreams.
No, he was like, you gotta go. And I went to the principal's office and all I had to do was just say, like, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
That's classic, bro.
The next day.
Sometimes you send a kid to the principal nowadays and they just come back with a
what else are you gonna do?
They're just like, hey, this kid picked up a desk and hit me over the head.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, apologize. You were hungry, weren't you? Here's a snack. Why don't you go back to class?
A fucking granola bar and the orange juice.
Dude.
Like he was in a prize fight. That's funny as hell.
I know. I'm actually very curious about your whole going to night school thing. And I heard a story
fun time,
that we had this senior all night party. Did you have like a senior all night party for graduation?
Yes.
I don't think we did in Florida. We had different shit.
Well, every day is a senior all night party in Florida with all the stuff they got going on. So I know you and your cousins snuck into neighboring high school's all night party, and you said, "Hey, we're from America's Best Dance Crew. We're here to perform." And that's how you snuck into.
Yeah. Did you have like the mask and the gloves and shit?
No. We didn't say we were Jabberwockies, but we because that was like that. I think America's Best Dance Crew was like season 2 at the time, and it was hot. And then we pull up to I had a friend who went to that high school, and my senior night was the night before.
Okay.
And I was like, because schools rent out the same space.
Yeah, okay.
And then I was like, this was fun. I want to do it again. And then I went with my cousins, and we're like, we're gonna go to my friend's high school senior night or whatever. And then we just go. We see it's like towards like the end, and we see like these guys packing up like some stuff. And then I was like, "Oh, are you guys leaving?" And then they're like, "Yeah, we're packing up." And then they're like, "Oh, we're the dance crew here to perform. Do you know where the passes are?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know, but just take mine." So I got the pass, and then we just went and chilled for like an hour.
Also, I wonder, like looking back when we were kids, the lies that we told adults.
Yeah.
I wonder what percent of adults knew we were lying, but just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
it had to been like 80% of like these kids are lying, but like who cares? Like, what am I gonna?
Went over on them.
Like, what are they gonna do? Like,
But I feel like maybe it's just me, but I feel like I grew up in like a very sheltered area.
Really?
And
gotta get them. Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway,
that was my one for the episode. Sorry.
Yeah, I grew up in a very sheltered area, and so like it's just like, oh, you gotta follow the rules. And it is funny. I feel like kids in like New York, LA, San Francisco, like just have more of a, let's sneak into this neighboring senior all night party or whatever it is.
Right.
What's the worst going to happen? They're going to tell us
just more
not
people
to be here. I feel like you're kind of that kid who is like, sure, maybe you shouldn't have threatened to beat up a teacher,
right?
But you also like, kind of like, I'm gonna live my life,
right?
Like nothing's gonna stop me. And was that kind of the vibe of the night school as well? Was it just like a bunch of the kids who are like, yeah, none of us are doing?
No, some of them were awful. Some of them were bad. I just went to night school because I had bad grades, not because I was like a bad person. It was like, it was a lot of people who like had guns and stuff. And I mean, I don't think maybe not at the time, or not at that
exact moment.
That class, but definitely some of them were like hard dudes, you know.
I feel like with the Abbott Elementary wave and all like the teacher TikTok stuff, I feel like that's the show you need to write is like the night school,
the
high school night school,
the real
experience.
shit.
That was so much fun though, because it was just a bunch of it was a bunch of kids that kind of like didn't give a fuck. We weren't like bad people per se, but we did our own thing.
You're like, I'm here to have fun.
Yeah, and night school is so easy. We wouldn't. The only thing I remember from night school was just like reading out loud.
That was beating y'all ass.
That's the only thing I can remember from night school. Other than that, and like before every class, me and my friend who also we went to the same school, we always rode together because we lived next to each other, and we'd always get Little Caesars pizza. And we'd sit in the car, eat it right before night school, and go in, and then just read out loud.
Right.
And then I got credits for that.
I don't know why they make people read out loud, but that is always I hate it as a teacher. Like I had to sub a 5th grade class, and they made me read to the kids. It's horrifying. Like you stutter over words.
To this day, I can't read out loud.
But it's also if even something that is
something
half 1% funny happens while someone's reading out loud, it's impossible not. Like I know you had the moment where the girl didn't know she wasn't supposed to read the footnotes at
that was
the end.
the funniest. Still to this day, one of the funniest things the funniest things I've ever experienced, and the hardest I've ever laughed, or one of the hardest I've ever laughed. It's crazy. I don't know why it was so funny. It's just so silly.
You were just in the class and she was reading like the textbook footnotes.
She was reading she was reading the textbook, and like you're supposed to go to the next page.
Yeah.
But instead she would stop. She I don't know if she couldn't process like what the idea that she's reading right now carries over to the next page. But she would stop mid paragraph, kept going on the footnotes, and just started reading definitions.
The footnotes was.
Oh, you know what I mean? It'd be like one
image 4 means that the areolas is the part of the nipple. Back to nipple. That's funny.
It was just so funny.
Of course, you would talk about areolas.
Yeah, Sam, I'm outside. Last thing I have, sneakers. I feel you always have really good sneakers.
Oh, thank you.
I did think about the shoes that I wore today. I've worn these maybe twice in my life, but the fact that Andrew Orolfo was on the podcast,
I really should have. I should have thought more. Yeah, I should have. I didn't.
Those are great. The Sakai's?
Yeah,
thank you. They're a gift. Shout out my Nike plug.
That's your wife or something?
No, can't say.
Yeah, that's his birthday gift.
Okay.
It was not my wife. Okay?
Top 3.
She bought me a house, not sneakers.
That's tight. That's a flex. One, maybe shout out another comedian you know that has really good shoes, and then I want to get your top 3 sneakers you own right now.
Okay. Rob Hayes, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Rob Hayes or CJ. The two. It's the Eddie too. Eddie Delaseppe.
Yeah.
He's got crazy, like expensive ass shoes. But Rob and CJ, the co-hosts of Motherland.
Yeah.
I think that's how we all got together. We just like shoes a lot. Yeah. So those 3 have crazy shoes. And then this guy Scott Eason out in Alabama. You'd never expect, but it's this dude, bald, bearded white man, looks like he was at January 6th looking kind of guy, but very, very, very funny. Very funny dude. Very cool dude. He also collects sneakers. So those guys. And then my top 3 right now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Because I have so many, but it's like some for different purposes.
Right.
So I just got the big red boots. So
I saw the post.
so
Yeah,
those might be in the
Mischief
top just
joint?
for now.
They're
just
under
'cause
retail right now and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Which is so annoying because I bought them. It's so frustrating. I didn't know I was gonna buy them on pre-sale. I thought they were gonna send. They had them made already.
Oh, so it took
like
a second.
2 or 3 months to get to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Damn.
The big red boots, for anyone that don't know, they're like the Mario looking
Yeah.
boot, like cartoon looking boots that you've probably seen all over social media.
Mm-hmm.
Are they comfortable at least? They look impossible to get on.
Yeah, they're very comfortable. I could stand in them for a while, but I can't run or
Well, yeah,
drive.
you can barely move.
I can't drive in them.
That'd be crazy. You could get out the car. That's funny.
Clown boots.
Um,
That's one. Mischief red boots.
mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of the whole collection. I have some, I guess my Royal ones from like 2016.
Okay.
And then
Air Jordan 1s.
yeah, those are fun. Cause I got them for like a crazy deal. And then
It's always the best.
they're not the most expensive ones I have, but they are like, I can't believe I got them for that.
That's what like real people that appreciate sneakers. That's like, I don't know. Some people just want the most expensive, extravagant thing, but sometimes the most simple.
Because the most expensive shoes I have, I don't even like.
Really?
Yeah. And then I have these, I guess, okay, I'll go my white ice SB Dunks from 2015.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Shout out
Yeah.
the Dunk Wave.
Yeah,
I
because
need me some dunks.
those were fun. Because I used to work at the skate shop. I saw them there and I just bought them. For some reason, those are the only shoes that I like kept from back then.
Yeah.
I got rid of a lot of stuff. But those ones, for some reason I kept, and then now you can't find them anywhere.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you got them. So
Yeah, I have
don't know.
them.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now you like can't find them.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
it's annoying if you don't have them, but that's the best for you.
I have 2 pairs of shoes that I'm waiting till I get like a nice credit to wear. I have like olive green Travis Scott 6s I got for retail.
Oh,
off
shit.
sneakers.
Whoa!
I was at my old day job.
Oh my god!
My old day job in like a team meeting, and like on my phone. Let me just whatever. And I got it in the middle of the meeting. I almost like threw my phone at the fucking speaker. Like, shut the fuck up! I just got these.
Hey, congrats!
I got those, and I got the all black Fear God, like the boots, yeah, like the nice ones.
Really cool.
The all black. I want to wear those. Whatever.
That's
If I
amazing.
get a TV thing or something.
I got the Jordan 5 off whites off sneakers, but I resold them.
What a
I shouldn't have. I just would like. I didn't at the time. I was teacher salary, and I'm like, with tax, it's like $300. I'm like, I don't have $300 right now to be spending on sneakers, and so I resold them for like $600.
damn.
And
You should have kept them. Shit.
it was I've resold a pair of Kobe's too that I just because I was on sneakers. You just enter and you don't expect to win. I'm like, I don't have the money for these right now either.
Right.
And I
stopped doing that. I if I don't have the bread, I don't do it because if I get the shoe, I'm gonna want to keep it.
Right.
Like, when I'm not gonna be able to get this shoe and like, oh, like I got like, those Michigan Dunks I got off sneakers. I'm like, I'm gonna rock these hoes,
Right.
or at least save them for a moment where like I'm gonna be on stage somewhere and have to.
Yeah, that makes sense. Before we get out of here, I'm gonna steal Danny's shine and tell you the next segment. Basically, he doesn't like to ask what's next because that's like puts pressure on. But this is kind of like in elementary school when you write a letter to your senior self where you're like, did you accomplish this?
Yeah.
Did you do this? So this is like your moment to call your shot, write a letter to your future self or whatever, basically saying, when you look back on it, you're like, I did do that. Like, what are we hoping for?
Okay.
A digital message in the bottle.
Fuck. I need it, but okay. I'm gonna do exactly what I did in high school. I did the same thing, and then, when you do it as senior year and they send it to you, they mail it to you.
Yeah.
I put $5 in my other one.
Nice.
I'm gonna put. Oh wait, I'm not sending an actual letter right now.
Yeah, give it to me. Then
Venmo me $20 and I'll Venmo you $20 in 5 days.
Okay, yeah.
you need your Netflix special. I'll give you.
I'll send an alarm in my calendar for 5 years from now.
So okay, yeah, let's do that. No, but so where do what am I doing?
Just like what? Yeah, like what?
A note to yourself.
What are you hoping? Like, I hope you have a Netflix special, or it can be something in your personal life. Like, I hope you find inner peace.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, maybe. No, I don't want to do that. I'll just say the the short you're writing right now is a movie.
Nice.
You want to write a movie, you said?
It is a movie.
Yeah. I hope it becomes a movie.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. The short you're writing right now.
Right.
I did not. I'm slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see that movie.
Yeah.
Before you get out of here, tell the people where to follow and find you and your lovely podcast.
Okay. All social media, it's at Andrew_Rolfo. And then my podcast, it's technically a game show, but we put it on podcast platforms. It's at The Meter Podcast on Instagram and YouTube and everything.
Check it out. Very
Pull
fun.
up to if you're in LA, Motherland, every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, 8 p.m.
Great show, fun show, good food too.
Yeah. Really good food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you want good Filipino food, go there anytime. It's so good. I stand by that place.
I haven't been. Now I'm just gonna come for the food.
Yeah, go for the food. Like their food is like really good compared to like a lot of the places I've been. Like I'm like top 3.
You know what's so funny too? Being on like going on dates and stuff. I be getting date ideas from comedy venues on off nights when the comedy's not going on.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that place runs a good show. I'm gonna take them there.
But I'm saying like when there's not comedy, like there's like good little spots.
I gotta send you this thing. So there's this. My friend sent me this thing. It's like this website that shows you all free art gallery openings.
Really?
Yeah, and that's a fun place to take.
That's that's fine.
That is.
You're not gonna run into anybody
if Danny could understand art at all.
I buy art.
Cultured swine.
He likes to project these things. Last time, I was gonna bring up the gun stuff. Anyways, this has been great, man. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, of course.
Well, what a great conversation, Sam. Get off your damn
Sorry,
phone.
I'm busy looking at my own Instagram. Just kidding. It's Callbacks. It's the Callbacks Instagram, which you can follow at Callbacks Pod.
Big content, big distribution, big stories, big vibes.
We're close to 1,000 followers.
Ooh.
Run it up.
For the 1,000th follower, Sam will personally come to your door and do a free service for you.
What? Are you prostituting me out?
Yeah, bro. This whole thing is built off of the backs of Midwestern moms and your ability to connect with them.
But shout out the non-Midwestern moms that follow too. That was a great episode. Andrew Orolfo, I just want to reiterate it. I don't think whether you're in the comedy game or not, how impressive that resume is. Like just to get JFL, just to get a late night set, and 4 years in a row, let me go on James Corden, let me go on Comedy Central, let me go on Netflix with one of the most famous comedians in the world, let me go on JFL. So and
sometimes
he's so humble. He's so chill.
Sometimes you just can't let. He started with 2012, and that stuff happened, 2020-ish, 8 years in. Like sometimes you just, when it's your time, and you become undeniable, and it seems like that's kind of what's happened with him. And I've seen him, in different settings, and he's always been a nice, cool, dope dude. And literally the night that I met my manager, we talked about this after we cut.
Flex. Danny's got a manager.
I'm talented. Sorry. Ugh.
Black man.
Yeah, I'm trying to get like you, black man. But I was doing this little small. I don't mean to shit on it, but like a small show in the basement here in LA. Might have been 13 people, 14 people in the audience on a Tuesday night or something like that, and DIY show. And he was there, I think, just supporting someone else.
Andrew was.
And we're like in the green room just sitting there chilling. And he's like, hey, just so you know, there's like a manager here or whatever. And I was going to just go in there and just do some jokes that were just, maybe some older ones, but trying some new stuff, kind of just messing around. Like that's those kind of shows, bar shows, a lot of times, those are the only really good opportunities to try new jokes and see if they actually work, because open mics here aren't really a thing. Mm-hmm. So he was like, he didn't say like, make sure you do whatever. He just gave me the heads up. And I was also apprecitive, and because
Andrew told you like there's an agent in the crowd. Try your best.
Yeah, exactly. Like try your best. Because he knew like it just was, it was a decent little DIY show, 13, 14 people in the audience.
Right.
And I ended up, working with that manager to this day, and it just shows kind of how easy it is to be nice and helpful to your fellow comedian. Like he didn't know me from barely anybody. I might have met like once or twice before in passing.
Looking out.
But we weren't that like cool. And just shows how good of a person that he is, and how how good we all can be to each other too in this space where it is all competitive. It is kind of sometimes, unfortunately, especially if you're of color, there are only a certain amount of slots that they're going to give.
And I know it.
Yeah, only a certain amount of spots they give tall white men with blonde hair.
Classic.
And so yeah. Anyways, that shows it shows his character. You know.
Yeah. I think I appreciate anybody who has the like, hey, if I eat, I want my people to eat as well, or even people that I know to be good people.
Yeah, like it wasn't even his person. It was just like him being a nice dude. You know.
Right. I think that goes to show in LA. It's cliche, but you never know who's in the room, because I always have this fear of like, I have my, if it's 5, 10, 15-minute sets, I have those timed out where I know, like, if I bring my A material, like, I know I can do well and have a great night or whatever. And it's tough because you got to keep working on jokes, but then you get you're in a big room and it's like, okay, well, there's 100 people here. I want to do my best so I get all these laughs and impress all the comics that are here. Like that's what I struggle with. Or it's like, or it's a small show, but there's a bigger comic here that I really respect. So I'm always afraid to try new stuff out because there's always somebody in the room where I feel like I want to impress.
Yeah.
And the one time I was hosting this open mic at Flappers, shout out Flappers.
The king of Burbank.
Burbank, got that Burbank stank. So hosting this open mic at Flappers, and I told myself, hey, you host this all the time. This, like, just go up there. Like, I wasn't bombing. I didn't say I'm gonna bomb on purpose, but I go up there without a plan on purpose, just so you can get more comfortable feeling,
thinking on the stage.
Like, yeah, and there are some people who you've referenced before. We were talking off mic. Sarah Squirm on SNL. She is one of the funniest people ever, and that's because she does bits where she purposely makes the crowd go quiet and then goes even harder on that, and that's what makes it funnier in the end. But you have to be. That is so hard to do. You have to be comfortable in that silence. Right? So I finally tell myself, just go up there and it doesn't matter. And I bomb and I'm like, good job. You're just handling this bomb and it doesn't matter. You're flexing this muscle. Mm-hmm. And then I walked off stage and I looked and Al Franken was in the audience at this open mic.
That's funny. Like about to go up?
U.S. Senator and former SNL Al Franken. He was there, I think, because his daughter was like trying out stand up. So he just came as like, supportive dad. So I'm not sure anything would have happened anyway, but I'm like, if I would have known he would have been in the room, I would have referenced being from Minnesota and I would have done my heaters. So then I could have at least been like,
he was the rep for Minnesota, wasn't he?
Yes. Damn. And then I could have said, so anyway.
You could have been famous. That's crazy.
I blew it. I blew chunks.
Isn't it?
Well, before we get out of here, Danny likes to have a ism. Danny's ism, which is basically Danny's life lessons with Danny is what I like to call it. So what is your ism for this week?
My little ism is very short and simple this week. It is okay to not have a gimmick. A lot of stuff I feel like in media is like the thing. You gotta have
not me feeling personally attacked. Just kidding.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to. Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
But yeah, it's okay not to have a gimmick. Sometimes, we need themes and stuff to kind of pull people in or whatever. And I understand that there's so much content out here these days that we kind of always look for something immediately to make our thing different.
Right.
But sometimes I think being who you are and being yourself is enough of a differentiator if you're being authentically yourself.
Yeah.
So, I've been thinking about that a lot with like stand up and even preparing for my half hour and all that kind of shit, and just like what I wanted that to be about and what I want even the show's theme to be. And it's like I don't really have a gimmick. I just want to be. It's about my life,
Right.
From growing up to now to what I'm going through now to like just observations, moving to a different city. And I think that's okay. It doesn't have to be there's so many things here in LA. There's one place that I know you love that I won't shit on it, but I saw like there was like a Jenga mic or like I've seen heckle mics and all this kind of stuff. And I just think sometimes we just focus so much on just like the gimmicks of stuff versus just like be funny at the thing. And that doesn't mean you have to be a boring ass entertainer. Because I just did improv for the first time this past week. So I think you should try different stuff for sure. But I don't think there has to be this crazy desire to be like, oh, we're going to do stand-up or we're going to light the person on fire and then you got to tell 3-minute jokes before you die. It's like, it doesn't need to be this complicated
we're murdering
thing.
People tonight. That's what
like we're just complicating shit a little bit too much sometimes. And it goes back to even like technology of like, okay, we're going to get rid of cable. We have all these streamers, but every channel that has a streamers now it's pretty much like cable again. It's like we just overcomplicate sometimes, even when the first invention or addition of it was like perfect.
Right. Amen. Be authentically yourself.
Yeah.
And look how far that got Danny. He gets to host a podcast with the 57th most popular teacher on TikTok.
Yeah. So. Do not scare the hoes. Thank y'all for listening.
Hey, somebody's daughter. Watch out, because Danny's coming for you. That's not what you can cut that. That was a joke.
Don't scare the hoes is a universal saying, I think.
Yeah, probably.
I want people to be comfortable with saying "don't scare the hoes" like in the PG setting, because "don't scare the hoes" can mean multiple different things.
Yeah, in a non-derogatory way. All right.
Yeah, the hoes doesn't have to be. It can be a lot of things.
Well, I'll let you be the one to say
I'm gonna keep saying hoes. Sam, start sweating.
Before we get out of here, Danny did reference doing his half hour. So if you are in the LA area or catch a flight, I dare you to come catch a flight. Please, pull up on this show. When is it? June 10th?
June 10th. It's in my link tree at followsellers.com.
And I hear he has a great opener.
Yeah. Yeah. I got one of the best white men I could find in LA that was available.
That was available. He was the 7th. I'll be hosting it.
Yeah.
Pull up on us. Follow on TikTok and IG at Callbacks Pod. And you can find me at Samuel Sleeves. We love you so much. Get home safe.